All Century 21 real estate offices are independently owned and operated.
This is the Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate. Good morning. I'm Jackie Ruddy, broker, and with my husband, fellow realtor, Pat Devaney.
Good morning, Jackie. And how are you today?
Very good. How are you?
Great.
Just like we haven't seen each other.
Well, we came up in different cars. So.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And a lot can happen on that drive, right?
It always does.
All right. With us today is Dwayne White, owner of White's Mechanical. Thanks for coming back with us. We appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me.
Sure thing. We're here every Saturday at 11 a.m., Sunday at 11:30 a.m., where we cover many real estate topics. We have exceptional realtors who have been guiding, assisting, and advising clients in real estate matters for 50 years.
50 years. Oh, my goodness. During the week, feel free to email us with any questions you have at questions@jruddy.com. That's questions@jruddy.com. Or give us a call, 570-344-6724. And when you're at jruddy.com, which is mobile friendly, click on the webcam tab and get a live view at Dunmore Corners and see what's going on.
View our listings, search the MLS listings, and listen to archive radio shows by going to mobilefriendlyjruddy.com, JRUDDY.com. Check us out on social media, and our radio shows are now offered. There's lots of ways of listening to our radio shows. So if you don't tune in on the weekends, you can always go to our jruddy.com, or I am on podcast now. All of the popular podcast apps. You can search for the Real Estate Roundtable with Jackie Ruddy. We should come up. Once you're there, you can follow or subscribe. Anytime that you download our shows, it lets me know what the popular topics are and what you guys want to listen to. So it's a great way for me to keep track of good topics to bring back in the future. Okay, Dwayne White, owner of White's Mechanical. Last week we talked about air conditioning, cooling, and what we need to do, the preventative maintenance things that we should all be doing now instead of later, as to avoid difficulties when it's a really hot scorcher of a day. So I want to talk to you about the different brands, time frame of installation, and the quality of the products that are out there today.
Okay. So a couple of the installation times. A ductless split is commonly like a single unit or even a dual zone unit. Runs about a 1-day job. We could be in and out in a day, up and running, everything cleaned up the way it was when we got there. And a central unit takes a little longer, depending on the style of house, but we estimate about 4 days per system. So if you're doing a house that is a 2-level house, it might take 8 days to do, 4 for the upstairs unit and 4 for the downstairs unit. Or if you have a ranch and stuff, usually like the estimated time is about 4 days. And again, we come in, we do everything we need to do. By the time we're done, you don't even know we were in your house. Everything is cleaned up, vacuumed up, everything put back where it was, and all you see is some little vents in the ceilings and the little thing out in the yard sitting.
And a cooler house.
And that's the best part about it.
I used to work with an electrician when I was young, and he used to stress. He would make us clean up a half hour before we were leaving. He says, you can always judge the quality of the job by the cleanup. That's what and I always look for that now when guys are doing the work. How is the cleanup?
Yep.
Yeah, I do too. I look at that. We just had work done on our patio. And
you wouldn't even know.
You couldn't tell when these guys, and they were there 3 or 4 days. Each time they cleaned out. It was spotless. I was very impressed.
Nice. Yeah. And my guys, I let them know, and they know and do it as we try to make it look better than when we got there.
Good. That's a great way to run a business, Dwayne. I like that. So let's talk about cost. And I know that could be a slippery slope, but if you can just give us some general ideas.
So a ductless split, the cost for them, and everything varies. I mean, it varies on where it's going in your house, where it's going outside, how far away the electrical panel is. There's certain codes that we have to follow around gas meters and stuff that we can't put them too close. And I know people will be like, nobody's going to know. But again, we still have to follow the code, and I try to keep it to the T. But as far as costs, I mean, ductless splits, I mean, they have them. They start out $3,000, $3,500. And then depending on how many heads that you want to do, which are the indoor units, then they just go up from there. So you can have a pretty complex system, or they could run you up to $10,000 to $12,000, or you can have a simple one head install for $3,000 to $4,000, depending on.
That's with the installation.
Yep, that's with the labor, and most of the time we do the electrical with it. The only time we don't really do the electrical is the city of Scranton, because you need a licensed electrician. So
the city of Scranton, do you mean that they don't encourage people to come in and do work?
I can't go there, but they just don't let us do the electrical. But
right.
Even though most of our unit is all electric, and my guys are very capable of doing it and stuff, and but again, there's permits involved where you'd need electrical. But other than that, we do everywhere else. We do the electrical and stuff, and we do it as if an electrician did it too. You know, even though we're not electricians, our systems are basically electrical. I mean, everything built into the system between the control wires, the compressors, everything is more technical with electrical in there, control boards, AC, DC voltage, a lot of different stuff.
We had one, and we had a problem with it. And we had the guy come, and he was on the phone with tech support, and he had the meters out. And like you said, there was no plumbing involved. It was all electronic diagnosis.
Yep.
That's all it was. Little switches and valves and mechanical. It was complicated.
Yeah, and the farther we get into every year, something new comes out, something different, something more technical, something to make it more efficient. You know, because, I mean, that's what the future is, using power and keeping it efficient is what everything is pushing toward. So, again, and that's why ductless splits, they are very technical. They probably have 4 or 5 control boards in them between the indoor unit and the outdoor unit that you don't even realize, because all you do is turn the thermostat on, up and down. But there's so much technical stuff in it that it gets
complex.
Yeah, it's pretty serious.
So this is something a homeowner should stay away from doing it themselves.
Yeah, and that's why everybody, like we wash the outdoor unit. Well, anybody can spray something with the hose, you know, but if you spray the wrong spot, you could cost yourself thousands of dollars, you know, and time down.
I shouldn't power wash it.
I was just going to say power wash it.
Get the inside of that unit clean.
Yeah,
you'll be getting yourself a new unit.
That circuit board looks dirty.
Yeah, exactly. There's some stuff that you don't want to get wet for sure. And then the sad thing is if you get one part wet, and how it shorts it out takes out multiple stuff. So when you got to change a control board in a unit, normally you're not changing one. You're changing multiple ones because of that reason. Because once you short out one, it sends the wrong voltage somewhere else and burns something else. So it gets a little complex.
Domino effect.
Yeah, exactly.
I sense a domino effect there. So have you seen that?
I have, yes. Uh-huh. Yeah. So, and again, it just, most of the time it's going to work out fine, but they're always going to have those situations that happens.
I never spray the hose into the compressor on the outside. If it's turned off and I'm blowing leaves, I'll make sure that there's no leaves around it, that they don't get sucked in. But I never, ever do that.
Yeah. See, and we use special cleaners for them, and we use like acid-based cleaners and stuff. But not all units you can use an acid-based unit or a coil cleaner. So it sometimes if you use the wrong cleaner, it could damage.
Hey, wait! I Googled a YouTube video, and it just told me exactly how to do it, and now it doesn't work. What the heck is going on here?
Yeah.
What did you break?
I know, right?
Yeah. Oh.
But getting back into pricing and stuff, those are the ductless split prices.
Yes.
But now getting into central air, you have pricing between, again, depending on if it's 1-story, 2-story, but one system generally depends on the style and how big the house is, because their size, the size of the house. You could get some between $88,000, $8,500 up to $12,000 for one system. And even some beyond that, depending on what options you have, because you could go again online and do some research, and you could find stuff that is made for like space age stuff. Where do you need that in your house in Northeast Pennsylvania? No, because our cooling season isn't the same cooling season as Florida. So it makes a difference that you don't need the best of the best of the best. Again, it's just, is it nice to have? Yes. Are you going to see the return on your investment? Probably not. But again, certain people like that they got the best of the one that's available. And if you want that option and you let us know ahead of time, we'll definitely do the estimate or the bid for that system. But again, do you need it? No.
All right. I got a question here. What about these thermostats that are controlled over the internet? The internet's, listen to me, I sound like an old man. Over the internet, the interweb thing. You know, you ever hear about that interweb thing?
Something about
it. Right. But what about like you know, the ones I'm talking about?
Wi-Fi thermostats.
Yeah, Wi-Fi. I got a name, but it's at the tip of my tongue. But a guy, I know people who have installed them who are very tech savvy, and they installed it and it screwed the system up royally. You know, the guy says, "Oh, I know the voltage. I know what I'm doing," the computer guy. And then the HVAC guy comes in and goes, "This guy wired this wrong. He's got the voltage all screwed up." So give me some insight and some of your experiences with those DIY internet controlled.
So a lot of it is like you're talking. You must be talking about like a Nest or an Ecobee
exactly.
or
It's
something
exactly
like
what it
that.
is.
They're popular for selling on the internet. They're throughout the winter and summer. We get a lot of service calls that for that situation that I put the thermostat in myself and the system don't work. And so there is ways, like, I know if you have the perfect situation and you have that and the perfect wires line up perfectly, it's going to work, you know, but a lot of times it really should be a professional to install that. Again, with the Nest thermostats or even with the Wi-Fi, there's different wires that need to be run to them to operate properly. So if you don't run the right wires to them, they'll work for a little while until they die out. They can't recharge. They're a power robbing thermostat is what they're called, but they also need a common wire, and that's what's not in your old typical thermostats is a common wire. So when we do it, a lot of times we'll have to run new thermostat wire to it to accommodate for that. Because there's so much technology built into them. They're not a thermostat that can just run off a battery. Like you could go to a hardware store, pick up a programmable thermostat or something simple where you could put a battery in it, and that battery will last you 4 or 5 years. Mm-hmm. Well, you get into these more technical thermostats and you put a battery in it, that battery's only lasting about a week or two. So they have to actually have a power source to recharge them, you know. So, and again, and I hate seeing somebody go through all the trouble and then we still have to go out and put it in for them, you know, and half the time whenever you hear what they paid for the thermostat, we're like, wow, we could have got it for a lot less than that or something.
Yeah, because I just witnessed a situation like this where the computer guy, I mean, he's a real certified Microsoft specialist. These guys know what they're doing. And then you got the HVAC guy. They actually got into it a little bit because the computer guy was like, listen, I know what I'm doing. And the HVAC guy was like, no, you don't. You know, so I had to step away. It was, you know, so those things that's exactly the situation as you described it. It's exactly what happened. It worked for a couple of months and then it went out.
Yeah. Which is common with them. Like I said, the newer thermostats, they're neat and stuff, you know. I mean, I believe in setting the thermostat, leaving it, and going from there. Some people, they have setback thermostats, and they're like, well, I don't need the air conditioning that cold right now, so I'll set it back while I'm at work. And then when I get home, I'll make it automatically go up. Well, again, you're still removing so many BTUs out of the house. So what you're doing is you're just shutting it off for a while. What you are saving is pennies, you know, for efficiency by setting it back and stuff. I mean, you are saving money and it is going to help long term. But again, I'd rather my house be one temperature, one humidity level all the time than to make it go up and down. I have some hardwoods and stuff in my house where I don't want them to see the different temperatures because you're going to get expansion and contraction. So you're going to see buckling and stuff.
That's exactly what another HVAC guy said, word for word what you just said.
One constant, consistent temperature.
That's what he said.
Yeah.
That seems to be the consensus.
And it's your flooring, it's your walls, it's everything.
Yep. And it's not, there is no set temperature. Like when I design a system, or the guys that design systems for me, they use temperatures that are design temperatures. So when I'm designing a house, for example, the design temperature for air conditioning is 75 degrees when it's 95 degrees outside. Now you're going to have your people that are like, well, 75 is too hot. But again, it's that design temperature is what it's supposed to be. Now, you're not going to be 95 degrees outside all the time. So, yes, you're going to be able to run it colder. And again, there are certain things. So every temperature in a house is set by the person living there or whatever. So a lot of people are going to be comfortable at 72 degrees. Some people are going to be comfortable at 64 degrees, and
Never.
But again, it's like you're going to adapt to whatever you set it at anyway. So if you set it at a normal temperature, leave it at that temperature all the time. Now it's going to be comfortable for you all the time. You're going to adapt to that temperature. You're going to become accustomed to coming home, and that's
unless
perfect.
you have hot flashes, Dwayne.
Yeah. I wouldn't know about that. But I know at the office we had to put a lock on the thermostat because people would come in and, boy, they'd spin that thing like it's a wheel of fortune.
Oh, yeah. Especially when you have multiple people in the office.
Yeah. One comes over, left, right. I was like, oh, man.
Yeah. Or you have that person over there has a blanket on. That person over there has a heater under the desk. This person over here has got a fan running.
You can't please everybody.
No way. We don't even try.
Yeah. With us today, Dwayne White, owner of White's Mechanical. How does someone get in touch with you, please?
Our office phone number is 570-383-2500.
Okay, thank you, Dwayne. A recent Realtor.com survey found that 47% of renters were surprised to learn that their home buying budget was larger than they realized. And that's because home prices were rising faster than their income, but they didn't realize that the low interest rates play an equally important role in the affordability equation. So even with rising home prices, low rates are keeping monthly mortgage payments about 23% lower than the typical payment 20 years ago. So here's for instance, an example. In January 2006, a monthly mortgage payment averaged $1,300, while in January 2020, a monthly mortgage payment averaged $826.
Wow.
Fascinating.
Yeah, that's the interest rate.
Yes. Would you like to review a listing?
Yes, I would.
Thank you.
Yeah, we have a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home at 711 Jackson Street in Dixon City for $137,000. This home is beautiful hardwood floors, a remodeled bath. It's got low taxes of only $2,100 a year. It's on a corner lot with a covered rear porch. It's got a nice sized yard and a large storage shed in the yard that could be used as a workshop. This is a seller's market, so if you're looking, you better give us a call about this 3-bedroom, 2-bath home at 711 Jackson Street in Dixon City for $137,000, and that's listed by Tim Vanston of our office.
We'll take a quick break now, but we'll promise we'll be right back with more Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate on 94.3 FM The Talker.
Who are Century 21 agents? They're high-tech gizmo-packing problem solvers with an appetite for getting things done. They know the best places to buy a home, to sell a home, and to find antiques, if you're into that kind of thing. They're weatherproof, foolproof, and proof positive that smart people doing good work can make big things happen for great folks like you. Oh, and there's one nearby. This is who they are. This is what they do. Century 21 agents. Smarter, bolder, faster. Each office is independently owned and operated.
Hi, this is Jackie Ruddy from Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate. Is real estate on your mind? It's on ours 24/7. Whether you're buying, selling, investing, or in need of an appraisal, you have questions, we have answers.
Thinking of buying or selling a house and have questions? Tune in to the Real Estate Roundtable hosted by locally owned and operated Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate on Saturday mornings at 11 and Sunday mornings at 11:30.
Call 570-344-6724 or visit jruddy.com. That's JRUDDY.com. We're We're back with more Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate on 94.3 FM The Talker. I'm Jackie Ruddy, broker, and with Pat Devaney, my husband, fellow realtor.
And we're back
with Dwayne White, owner of White's Mechanical, having a great discussion with you yet again today on cooling, air conditioning. We were talking at the first half of the show, the cost of ductless, the cost of central air, a general idea, and the time frame for install. I'd like to now focus on brands. What type of brands should we be looking at, and warranties, please?
All right. So as far as that goes, there's a lot of good brands out there. Everything is pretty much structured the same way. Or
let me ask you a question before you start. Are there any units that are made in the USA?
You're stealing my questions because I was just going to say that.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
That's all right. Go ahead.
Yeah. There are, and mainly, just to answer your question there, and mainly I wouldn't say they're built in the USA. They're assembled in the USA. They're built elsewhere, and then they're assembled in factories in the United States and stuff. A lot of the components that are involved in it are from out of the country. But I mean, as far as that goes, there's a lot of brands out there that are good units. I mean, we use Comfort Maker and Tempstar, which is an ICP product. There, in our area, we use a lot of York. We use a lot of Train. We use Carrier. So there's a lot of good brands out there, and we don't just use one brand, especially this day and age, because one of the things is trying to get equipment. You know, what the manufacturers over the past year, what happened, sometimes we have to change manufacturer just to be able to get the equipment to be able to put in your house. So as far as that goes, we don't really just sell one name brand. Again, we're capable of servicing all the name brands. They all work the same way. They all have little ups and downs with them or something different, but they're all worth installing in your house. So whenever somebody's bidding dollar for dollar, I mean, one of the things that you do want to look at that, you know, and see what units they're using. And then also what comes with it is there's different qualities of that unit, where I can sell you an ICP piece of equipment, a Comfort Maker or a Tempstar. It has different levels. There's builders models, and then there's a next grade up, and then there's like a top level. So you can actually get or build whatever you want. Again, we use builders models most of the time, and some people will ask for an upgraded unit. But again, everybody has different levels of units. And back in the day, it used to matter by which ones you put in, because that would affect your warranty. So with the warranties, everybody kind of gives a 10-year parts warranty with their equipment now. So if you're purchasing a piece of equipment, I mean, from whether it's White's Mechanical or Joe's Mechanical, to me, that doesn't matter. But that 10-year warranty is yours. So if you had somebody come and put your system in the next year they got out of business, that warranty is your warranty. It doesn't go with that contractor. So what we do is, like, for warranties, again, we give a 1-year labor warranty. And that means when we install a system, we give you 1 year. If there's any issues, it's going to fall within that year if something happened. But so after your 1 year labor warranty, the labor is not covered. So if something did happen to your system, you would have to pay the labor, but the parts would be covered. And whenever I say parts, that's the major parts in the system, like the physical parts. So if you get a leak in a system and you lose refrigerant, now the manufacturer doesn't cover refrigerant, but the coil leaks, so they're going to cover the coil, you know. And so it's good to find out about the warranty, and it's nice to know when you install it, because we have people that put systems in 15 years ago, and they're like, oh, we just put it in like 7 years ago. you know, we do register everything. We can pull your model and serial number up online.
You can pull the serial number is like it's like the VIN number, right? It's got the manufacturer date in there and everything, doesn't it?
Correct. Yes,
Yeah.
we know when it was built. We know. Now you could have some shelf life on the unit, so if you're getting a 10-year parts, your serial number could show that it's 11 years old. We could run the numbers, and it may say that it's still under warranty because it was on the shelf for a year, so it'll cover. But again, it's always good to find out about the warranty with it. And like I said, especially your major brand units are all 10-year parts warranty anymore. Ductless splits run a little different. We use Fujitsu. That's our main brand that we use. We put in some other ones. Again, not that they're bad or anything. There's Mitsubishi, which is a good name. There's, everybody kind of comes out with a unit, whether they rebrand it or they come up with their own. But we use Fujitsu because we get a 12-year parts warranty with them.
Oh, nice.
So that's what makes that nice. And I've seen some warranties for ductless splits that are a little different. They're not 10-year parts. They might be 2-year parts, 7-year compressor. So that's going to be a little different than a central unit because every manufacturer has a different warranty when it comes to that. Where when it's central across the board, pretty much everybody's 10-year parts.
Years, yeah.
So these are important questions that I need to be asking as a customer. Now, you were talking before about the different levels of the same unit. How would I know to ask for these different levels if I was just Joe Blow coming in looking for a system?
So, again, we get back to the interweb, the internet. A lot of people go on the internet and they read stuff and they see stuff. Now, for you as you're looking into central air, again, you have to depend on your contractor that's coming out, and you got to hope that he's using a good unit and stuff where hopefully I'm selling you the right product for what you need. And like I said, in our area, Northeast PA, we don't need the best of the best, the highest SEER. Now, to go up a SEER or two, and that's your efficiency ratings on your units and stuff. Now, some people will be a little bit more updated on others, but the standard systems that we put in are perfectly fine for our area, very efficient because the standards are so high as it is already. Like if you go into SEER and you pay attention to stuff like that or read up on it online, you look at a window air conditioner, they're like 8 or 9 SEER. And then you look at a central air conditioning, they're about 13 is the smallest SEER we put in now. 14 is a common one that we use a lot of, but you could get up to 20, 21 SEER. Then you get into ductless splits where some of them I've seen up to 28 SEER, and that's all efficiency ratings. So, I don't want to really get into that right now as far as how they figure out.
But the higher the SEER you're going to pay for.
Yes, but the more SEER, the more money it costs to install. Again, if I was down south,
you'd need it.
You would need it because you're going to save the money long term. But up around here for an air conditioning system, you don't. We might have 3 or 4 months that are air conditioning season.
I was going to say 3 weeks.
and some people think that way, though, like 3 weeks, too. Like
a pool, like you get 3 weeks. Yeah. I don't know. That's how I see things in the Northeast. But
yeah, I figure 3 to 4 months out of it. And even that, our air conditioning season is probably 6 months, to be honest, like once you start getting into commercial or stuff like that. Actually, my son turned our air conditioner on the other day when it was 70 degrees out already.
I'm gonna pull the master on it.
Dwayne White, owner of White's Mechanical. Can I have your info, please?
Yes. Our office number is 570-383-2500.
Thank you, Dwayne. We're out of time. Thanks for tuning in to the Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate. Remember to tune in next Saturday at 11 and Sunday at 11:30 a.m. on 94.3 The Talker.